All right. So got a new mic. Got to make sure everybody can hear me. So Liberty, I know you're on TikTok. Let me know if you can hear me well. Hold on, let me. As a matter of fact, I can use my own phone. So bear with me, family. We did a little upgrading since the last episode. You know, the sound was tragic, extremely tragic. But all right. So I don't hear all the static we had last week on Facebook. So I'm gonna check YouTube and I'm gonna check Instagram, see how they doing too. Okay, thank you. Not now. Say YouTube say I gotta. All right, sound good on YouTube. So life is grand for us right now, family. Glad to have you back for another episode. Glad to be with you for another week. We're just gonna do some chatting today, not a live reading. I want to talk about some of the upgrades we had, and I hope it really does make a difference on our show experience, right? Because we've been going through it. We've had all types of sound issues, but the worst being the tin can day. And nah, I haven't even started playing with it yet. So wait till I started playing with it. So this is the original sound. So I'm gonna ask your opinion because I think there's a sound that I like the best. But I'm gonna show you how we've upgraded. So um, the setup or whatever. Let me do my little sound thing and then we're gonna switch cameras. And Liberty, I'm gonna need your assistance, please, family. So you can tell me. So give me 1 second. What am I about to do? I gotta switch back. All right, so let's did our throat chakras flowing so we can communicate excellently today. All right, that's good. Hope y'all feeling calm at a patient vibration. You can feel the vibe, and we're going to. I don't know. I think we're going to, like I said, we're gonna chat today. So I'm gonna show you some of the upgrades that we got, and what we gonna talk about. I generally tell you all of that stuff too. We're going to talk about this idea of imagination, a new challenge, and and I think it's time for us to work on another affirmational word. Worthy is looking a little lonely back there, so uh, we're gonna talk about that as well. So let me switch things up for you. All right, family. Let me put some on my lips. I'm feeling a little chap right now. Liberty, this thing is gonna sound amazing on Thursday on book club day. Man, listen. I wish our Polish friend could show up today so he can hear because he's the one talked about that ASMR thing. But yeah. So he would love the new setup. I splurged a little bit just to give you some perspective on the first set I got. So this is the original soundboard that I was using. Not bad. It did a bunch, but what I'm learning with this new soundboard is this soundboard was the reason we were having a lot of issues during the show. And funny, the mic itself isn't that bad, but I think the cord started going out, so that's why we started having all that static noise. And I'm gonna pick up the new one so you can see the difference between the two. And family, we share a little everything. Like I said, like we've been building. No, I haven't even been able to study the Polish like I wanted to. Um, I actually been working on wrapping up the end of the year because I've been dragging my feet. So, and I don't know, life been life, and so I'm gonna have to get back to it though. So definitely before he show back up, and to give you some perspective, this is the new. Hold on, let me. I want to make sure I can see what's going on too. Yeah, so this is the new one. Uh, uh, yeah, so it does a lot more. It's only a little bit bigger, but and I think the major difference is I went with an all XLR mic, so I had to get the little church plug and everything. So phantom power, the whole 9 yards, all of that. But in perspective, that first set has been excellent for us, really, because for $50, family, we definitely got our money's worth. I'm talking about the mic, the soundboard, and everything. I went with Powell because it's cheap, and you know what I mean. Not because it's cheap. I went for Powell because it was a fair price for what I was doing. Because remember, family, at this time I ain't even have a job, so I was investing money that I didn't even know if I would ever get back. So, right, I know, right? It makes it look like it's a toy. So they got a bunch of different sound effects and the support, so I can do some custom sounds, which I will do later. But the thing I really want you to help me with, so they have like the studio effect, this rap sound effect, and some other stuff. Like, of course, they got sounds, and I hope you can hear them because I can't. And slap in the face, applause, laughter. They saw that despise. That's crazy. Despise, right? Fist. This sounds more like a punch. It's definitely a nice little jab. Sentimental is interesting. And then they have love you. I love you. Right. Some piano music. Man, listen. Okay, so the funniest thing really about this new setup is probably this voice changer and Liberty. Oh my God, I can't hear it. But what it normally says, like when you pick the voice, I got male, female, child, and some magic voice. These voices sound so crazy. As a matter of fact, I'm going to monitor at the same time so I can hear what y'all hearing, and then when we get to the laughing, when we get to talking, I'll take these headphones off. These some of my favorite headphones. I don't even want to give them up. They were fantastic for me with working out and all of that stuff. So crazy. So Liberty, I'll be wilding with that voice changer. So here is one of them.
It says female white mode. So to whoever manufactured this, they think this is what a white woman sounds like. Wild concept.
And this is male white mode. And for some reason, whoever made this board thinks that this is what a white male sounds like. This sounds like the things nightmares are made of. So, listen to the laugh. I sound like an evil villain, right? Like,
So, this is a children's voice. And they just say children's voice this time, so yeah. I ain't feeling that. It definitely was giving a little witness protection. Oh my God. You know, I got a new toy, so I'm acting ignorant. And Liberty, I know you sit here and listen to this mess. So, oh Lord.
And this is magic voice mode. I don't know. Doesn't sound good to me. Don't like it. So yeah. And
Then back to the original sound. So that's how I regularly sound. But the thing that I want you to choose from is they have this studio mode and this rap mode. And I don't know which one I like better. I think I actually do like the rap mode better. So we're going to hear studio mode. Let me know if you can tell the difference. I can tell the difference, but so this is it in studio mode. To me, it sounds a lot clearer. My voice sounds like someone's narrating or reading you a book or something of that nature. So that's the vibe I get from studio mode. So when I want to do some voiceovers or things of that nature, like I said, I think it'll be fantastic on Thursdays when we're doing book club and I'm reading to everyone. I think this gives it a good sound effect. And then the next one is rap mode, which is interesting. Yeah, I think there's a little racism in this soundboard, but it's an excellent soundboard outside of the racism. And this is rap mode. So yeah. So I think rap mode is a little clearer. And as a matter of fact, I think rap mode gives the quiet storm thing. I think studio it does give a little radio too, but it gives more NPR. So, you know what I mean? I'm up and interviewing and things of that nature, but this would be perfect for Thursdays when we do book club. So, I think for me, what you think, Liberty? I know it's a little delayed. Well, you got to be on TikTok. So TikTok normally is the one that's caught up. So yeah. See now, come on now. You got me sitting up here. Okay. See? You see what I mean? It does give a very good ASMR. So yeah, everybody, thank the universe and Liberty because the universe made sure that old soundboard was going to give up on me. And like I said, for $50, it was a fantastic soundboard. It got us through a lot. And like I said, that was the soundboard and the microphone. But like I said, I went with a name that was familiar to me. So Pi was pretty good, and it was good while it lasted. But the reason why we thanking Liberty, because I was gonna fix that Pi. It's one of those things that we talk about and we work on in the healing thing and buying things for yourself outside of necessities and feeling okay with treating yourself. So I'm one of those people that you use it till the wheels fall off. And as long as that unit was still working, we were gonna keep we were gonna keep using that unit. You hear me? But Liberty was like, you've upgraded everything else, so it's probably time to upgrade that. And valid perspective, because we've upgraded the whole setup from when we started. And the only thing that I did not upgrade, or we did not upgrade, family, was the microphone and the soundboard. And I definitely, my friend, I was just talking about you, so I know it's late. I wanted to tell you I got a new mic, man. And I went with a sound because you said the ASMR thing. So I went with a sound that is strong. So I was just speaking about you, and Liberty just asked me, have I had time to learn any more posts? And I've been kind of busy I thought about trying to rush through it today, but yeah, right, yeah. I appreciate that. Thank you, brother. What's all? I got sound effects and everything. You logged in just in time. It don't say thank you. That's what I need. I need to make a customization that says thank you. And I'll give you applause. How about that? Yeah. So yeah, it's it was time. So last week you weren't on. It was so much static. If you can catch on YouTube or if you catch it on YouTube or something, you'd hear how terrible last week sounds. So it was crazy. But glad to have you back. Yeah, I hope I don't know if you finished with your classes. I know you were saying you took your final exam, but I hope you're taking a break and enjoying that break, because I know how it is when you finish those classes. For real, for real, for real, for real. Thank you, brother. All right, so let's get this show started. I've finished playing with the toys, showing y'all the upgrades, so we can do a little chatting now. Still trying to monitor everything, make sure everything going the way it should. So, all right. Boo. Okay, good. It did switch. Wow. YouTube. Yeah, the mic and actually the soundboard upgraded because it does a lot of things. So, and I think going with that XLR, the full church setup with the phantom power and all that stuff was definitely a good move for the show. So, sometimes you just gotta listen. Thank you, TikTok people, for joining. I see top viewers, Liberty, Geraldine. I know that's right. My homeboy mom name is Geraldine, so Geraldine always have a little space in my heart. Hey Sherry, how you doing? Oh man, let me tell you something about. I don't know if you. Congratulations on passing everything. I know that takes a lot of effort, and people act like that's a normal thing. Like when you go to school, like passing your classes is what you're supposed to do. But man, most people, I know at least in America, most people have some college, no degree. So what's normal is dropping out. So being able to pass all your classes, congratulations, brother. Pat yourself on the back. And that kidney stones, you know what's wild about kidney stones? I'm in the South, in North Carolina. And in the South, we love sweet tea. And I found out one thing, that black tea, which is just the normal sweet tea that they sell, a lot of places, the normal tea that they sell in a lot of places, is good for creating kidney stones. So I don't know if it's something in your diet or something like that, but I know I have to watch tea, and I love tea. I mix it with lemonade. You give me, call it an Arnold Palmer. You mix it half and half. I love it. I love it. I love it. Sherry, glad to have you here. I know you're enjoying your break. I hope you enjoy the new mic sound too. You hear me? Over last week, I know you tried to work with me when it was sounding all terrible last week. So, something I wanted to talk about is I want to give us a new tool as we approach this healing process. And I think, you know how we talked about when you ask yourself those questions, you get the first answer, and then I always say, ask yourself again. And when you get to that third answer, that's probably the root of it. And one thing that we hear a lot about is in this healing process, it's really about connecting to your childhood, right? And, that's been, I've said it. I've even said it on the show, but I think I want to add another tool to our repertoire that I'm learning myself, so we're going to learn together. And I think healing is really more about reconnecting to your imagination, right? And I think one of the reasons we say that it's about reconnecting to your childhood is because childhood is it just kind of serves as a place marker of a time where we allowed our imagination to run free, uninhibited, unfeathered, just be whatever you want to. You know what I mean? But one of the reasons I say childhood is just a place marker, but if you think about other times, there can be other place markers. Like I know in my personal life, another place marker where I was able to reconnect on my imagination and let it be free was in college. I was a kid that never would have thought that I'd be modeling. I modeled in college. I did SGA. I never thought that I'd be able the opportunity to start an organization on campus. So it was crazy. And the wildest thing about college, which is probably one of my best college experiences is, and the best example of how imagination is, when I was in college, we started this little group, me and my a couple of my friends. It was probably about 4 or 5 of us, and it was crazy on how we started. We used to call ourselves BBB. Got it. Genetic. Man, understand that. Yeah, genes are tough to beat. So I'm glad it's not diet related. At least you know where it's from. And hopefully they can give you some things to try to prevent it. And I use that loosely because, yeah, it might just be prolonging and making it a little bit easier. But I understand, man, them fathers, listen, I'm telling you what, my father has me watching my back for diabetes. Oh my God. I'm not getting that. I will eat grass for the rest of my life before I mess around with that. I'm not doing that. So those parents can give us something we gotta watch for. Right. So in college, we wound up starting this organization. It's a perfect example of imagination because I remember it like it was vividly. And we used to call ourselves BBE. And it was crazy because we were just young men being imaginative. So one day we were just sitting at the apartment. I lived off campus. And, we were drinking and having a good time. So we were just making up stories. And we imagined that we were a fake rap group. We went on tour. We wound up having a disagreement. The rap group broke up. We got back together, did a reunion tour. And the whole time, the made up name of this rap group was BBE. And the wild thing at that night, it was just an imagination thing. And it was a joke, something to laugh at. But as wild as it is, that next day, we actually brought that imagination, that fake thing, into the real world. And people thought we really existed. So it was funny. I remember when we played intramural football and we called ourselves BBE. And we even got cheerleaders and everything. That's how crazy or how wild we allowed our imagination to be, that we just let that idea, this made up idea, fake rap group that went on tour, broke up, got back together. So, and all that, we had cheerleaders and everything. So we were just out of control with this imagination things. No, I really wouldn't be no grass eater, but I'm telling you what, I don't want diabetes. Yeah, and I know for that, at least in my case, it would definitely be diet related. So I definitely try to, I'm gonna start sharing more videos of me cooking and whatnot. Because I can cook too, very well. So, but anyway, we made up all this thing, and it was an excellent time, but it serves as another example of a time where it's not childhood, but we were able to connect with our imaginations like we were children, and we allowed it to run free in a positive way. And I use that loosely because it's what we deemed as positive, and others may not see the same thing, but for us, it was a good thing. It was a very good thing that started from an imagination. And I mean, just started from make believe, seriously. And the thing about it is, I think one of the reasons why healing is more about tapping in or reconnecting with your imagination, because tapping into your imagination and learning to manipulate that becomes an exercise in emotional control. And you know this because if you allow it, your imagination can go anywhere, and it generally does. And you think about it, you can see yourself being anyone, going anywhere, doing anything. You think about it like this: there is someone right now that if you ask them what they want to be in life, they will tell you a dinosaur. And there is nothing in this world that you can say that really would make them believe that they cannot be a dinosaur. When I allow my imagination to run free, one thing I wanted to be, I was going to be the first dancing lawyer, because I thought law was a good position for me, and I always wanted to be an MC Hammer dancer. That was my first goal. So I was just going to combine the two things I love, talking and dancing. And I was going to be the first dancing lawyer. You hear me? There still are no dancing lawyers. But I wonder if I actually would have followed that, and I actually would have trusted that inner voice, and I actually would have exercised the skill of bringing to life my dreams. How different would my life be now? And I think we really do need this exercise in emotional control with our imagination, because girl, I know you ain't laughing at and I ain't gonna tell you what BBE stands for either, because it's a mess. You know it. Just imagine some young black college kids, some young kids, period, because this would happen anywhere. What could BBE stand for? And I bet you guess right. But I think we need this exercise because somewhere along the line, we've lost control of our imagination. And the safest way to be able to feel like we have control of it is to not use it anymore, or to not exercise that skill. And one of the reasons we've done that, because our imagination has turned into that voice of discouragement. We've shared so many of our dreams, so many of our thoughts, so many of our everythings with other people. And it's funny because when you start sharing, you get other ingredients, and some ingredients encourage and some ingredients discourage. And we talked about how some other people's ideas, these parasitic thoughts and ideas, can get connected to your spirit, right? And then they'll have you living a life that is not the life that you saw for yourself. So you imagine when you dream now, how fast people will shoot your dream down. Tell you this, imagine if today I told you I wanted to be a rapper, a 45-year-old rapper. How fast do you think people would shoot my dream down? Right? And how fast or how easy is it for me to turn off my imagination and accept and receive what's been said to me? Right? And I think that's one of the reasons why we have to reconnect to our imagination, because we've boxed our imagination, our thoughts, and our dreams into an area that they are no longer free. And we need those things to give us the direction, the hope, and to live as our higher self, because through dreaming, you can make those ideas reality. And once you dream it, you make it reality. That means you have the power to create the reality you want from yourself. And the thoughts starts with an idea. One of my favorite Wu-Tang lines is, from one single idea, everything appeared here. And that's the truth. You think about it, everything that we have right here started from one idea. So I do think that part of this healing process is learning how to master that voice of discouragement and turn on that voice of encouragement, and learning how to allow our imagination to be free, and learning how to tune out the outside noise. Better yet, learning how to eat the meat and spit out the bones. So something I want to share with y'all is something that I'm kind of proud of for myself. And, we talk about it on this healing path a lot of times. You do the work. And of course, the universe has to put you in a situation where you got to be tested. You have to exercise these skills, you know what I mean, to become better with it, with anything. If you don't exercise it, you don't improve. And it's funny. I think, one of the comments on Facebook says that it's because people don't see their dreams, right? I mean, don't see themselves dreaming, achieving their dreams. And I do think that. And I think this can fall into one of those generational curses. And I think a lot of times when we talk about generational curses, we look at it from a familial standpoint. But generational curses also come from society as well. And depending on when you were born or when you were raised, they were different generational curses. So, for example, imagine being raised in a generation where Martin Luther King got killed. What is that teaching you and those around you? And what would that make you teach your children or the youth that look up to you? What kind of statements would you say in public? What kind of statements would you say when asked questions and would not ask questions? And I think a lot of them will be coming from the best intentions and lead in a way of caution. Don't do it because, you know what I mean? So I think a lot of times it's because they can't achieve their dreams. And I think sometimes it comes from a place of good intentions. You remember what I said? The road to hell is paved with good intentions. People can have the best intentions, but create a personal hell for you. And I think sometimes people don't want you to face some of the possible outcomes of chasing your dreams. Because chasing your dreams, not all of the outcomes of chasing your dreams are fantastic. And that's even when you achieve your dreams. That's why people say more money, more problems. It's a new set of problems. It's not easier. And people definitely do kill dreams with the quickness. And again, that's where that imagination or that inner voice has turned into a voice of discouragement. And we've turned that voice off because of what we allow it to say. But in reconnecting with our childhood, that reminds us of what it was like to allow our imagination to run free and how it was to have a little more control over your imagination, or even allowing your imagination to flex in ways where you can feel the vast spectrum of emotions. You know what I mean? So, I've talked to y'all about a little family tension, right? And for me, I've been kind of like just kind of staying away. And it's funny because a lot of people say this, or have this mindset, or I see it, to protect your peace. So in my mindset, I was just kind of staying away from the tension to protect my peace. You know what I mean? And in the sense of the battle with my imagination as well too, because I have some ideas on what the outcome could be, and then I have some other ideas on what the outcome could be, but spiritually and internally, I really know what's going to happen or what would be the outcome if I step into that environment again. But I also recognize that it's going to be a time where I would have to go into that environment again. That's just how life is. You know what I mean? You always get an opportunity to face your fears and to see if you've grown enough to navigate those waters differently, or if you need to learn that lesson again, right? And of course, we've been doing all this healing, all this work, and I've learned lessons over and over and over. And one thing I'm trying to say, at least now, I want to just learn that lesson one time. You hear me? I don't want to learn the lesson over and over and over. I'm good on that. You know what I mean? Like, thank you, but once is enough, man. Listen, like my mama used to say all the time, why take a class 2 times when you can get it right the first time? And that's the truth. And as crazy as that is one reason why I never felt the class, because I was not taking that class twice. That's crazy. Not doing that at all. But so in a space to protect my peace, I've been kind of staying away from it. But I had to wind up facing it at some point. And so this point happens. And I have to go over to my family's house. And it's funny because in my mind, knowing what I envisioned the outcome being, I already set in my mind who I was going to be in that situation, which is very, very different than how I normally handled it before. Because in the past, I would take more of a reactive approach, even though I can see or foreshadow or just, I know you repeat certain paths, you know the outcome. You know what I mean? You put enough gas in your car, it's going to get a full tank. It's just outcome. So you know the outcome, right, wrong, and different. You really do know what's next. So I'm trying to avoid that, blah, blah, blah. So I go over there and I decide in my mind, I'm going to be a person that comes from a place of gentleness, right? Because we're practicing that, and a place of love, right? Because we're practicing that too. And it's wild because how I saw it happening is exactly how it happened. I attempted to give a hug, didn't get a hug back. I attempted a I love you, didn't get a I love you back. I attempted conversation, didn't get a conversation back. And it was wild because for me, and one of the reasons I'm sharing this with you is because I'm proud of myself. Because like I said before, in those situations, I would feel responsible for trying to make the situation better, putting in the extra effort, like it's my responsibility to make someone else not angry, or to make someone else feel happy, or to make someone else feel loved. And in this situation, and it gets very difficult when it's family, it's easier to be like, it's not my responsibility. When it's friends or acquaintances, but it gets a little harder when it's family per se. And so for me, I was proud that I was able to be who I wanted to be in that. And two, I didn't feel responsible for what someone else didn't do. Now it would be dishonest or naive of me to say that it didn't hurt, but it did. I mean, it did hurt. And that hurting was part of the process of release, because you got to feel it to release it. So I allowed myself to be a little bit hurt, but I was proud of myself on how I responded. And I think one of the reasons why I was able to respond calmly from a space of love and gentleness is because I was able to see in that moment, I was able to see the situation for what it truly is. The anger that is in that family situation, the anger or tension that is going on between parent and child and cousin or whatever, is not my responsibility. I've done what was necessary for me to work on my anger, and I'm still working on that every day. And we do this show so we can work on it together as a family, work on our anger, and we discuss it. We have various people share the things that they do. We have various people talk about it, and we heal together. But in doing this, the one thing that we get is understanding. The only real control we have is over our behavior, and it's our responsibility. So I was proud of myself to be a little more fluid in that, be able to remain who I envisioned Anthony to be instead of who I allowed experience, advice, and all those other things to shape me into being, right? So, and all that's to say is, as you do the work, you're going to have to be challenged. And sometimes them challenges may feel like failures because you still feel the emotions of it. But pause and take a step back and look how you have improved. So I did my moment. I took me a little spiritual bath. And released it, and I'm okay. And something else I want to kind of talk about. What time is it? Okay, we got a little bit of time, so we can still do this. So I think this is an interesting concept when it comes to the healing process. And I think we kind of talk about it, but we don't really talk about it. But healing essentially creates good feelings. But a lot of times there's a process that you have to go through to get these good feelings, these good environments, these good whatevers. And all the feelings that you feel in that process aren't always what you would label as good feelings. And one of the healing feelings that I want to talk about is the loneliness. So when you start working on yourself and you working on building a tribe. So like, for example, if you building a tribe through the Soul Family, we're a virtual tribe. At some point, we'll probably have a Soul Family reunion or something like that. But as of right now, that's a great idea. We're going to do that one day too, Soul Family. We just building our family online. But one of the things I noticed in my healing my Reiki sessions is, one, people are deprived of touch and genuine interactions, right? And once you start this healing path, it winds up putting you in a very wild place, right? Because now you've done all this cleaning your energy, and you've done all this cleaning out opposing energy that doesn't match you or doesn't match how you envision yourself or who you are working to be, your higher self. You know what I mean? And now you're in this space where you got to find new friends, new routines, and new everything. And right there in that space, before you find the new, you can pause and look around, and there's not a lot around you after you clean up. You've cleaned the house. There's no more furniture. There's no more pictures on the wall. All you have is a foundation and walls. So you still have the house. And the thing about that is it can create a space of loneliness that can be triggering. So when you get to this space, you have to be able to recognize that that lonely space isn't forever. It's the reset space. And it's also a space for you to be able to grow from, because that loneliness can be a trigger. And that's one of the things that I recognize from myself is once you reach that space, it can be a trigger, because now you begin to start questioning yourself. Did I make the right choice? Because it seems like I don't have all the friends I used to have, or I don't have all the social opportunities I used to have, things of those nature. And then you get frustrated sometimes because some of the people that you thought would be able to be there with you are no longer there. And one of the more amazing things that can create frustration is how some people can no longer talk to you because you have boundaries for yourself. Craziest thing that I think that has happened to me is I've had somebody stop talking to me just because I politely asked them not to do something that I felt was inappropriate. And it's something that they wouldn't like if you did it to them. And that's a crazy concept, but it puts you there. And last, it'll give you, which it winds up being the battle for that lonely feeling, is temptation. And you be tempted to go back to your old self, to not have to deal with that space, because that space can feel so wrong because there isn't a lot of people there with you then before you find your tribe. And the thing about it is, if you do have those feelings are definitely signs that you may be triggered by the loneliness. And then you can take time to think about, how have you behaved before in your life when you felt these feelings? And then you can assess if there's a need for a change or any sort of improvement in how you would behave before. But the first step is to recognize on if it's a trigger for you. And then something else that you have to do at this moment when you're at that space of reset, after you've done all the cleaning, and now you can figure out what new furniture and what new paint and all that exciting. There's still a space of you sleeping on your air mattress before you get the furniture. This is a time where you also get to exercise your awareness. And we've used this word a ton of times over the last couple of weeks. Terrence, brother, I appreciate you as always. Glad you get to hear the new setup. Glad to have you in there. Monday, bro, I was passionate. As I talked about, my man Terrence, he and I are both in this men's group. And we meet on Mondays. And funny, and this, I think in this men's group meeting, we were connecting in how we may be in the same boats together. Like I may have a math problem And Terrence got a math problem too. So now we know we both in the same boat. But then Terrence also got an English problem. But my homeboy over here got an English problem. So Terrence can feel better about his English problem too. Because he know he got another brethren in the boat with him. So me and Terrence in one boat together, and I got a little passionate about it last night, which is good because the men's group is a safe space for us to be able to do that. But you know, I get passionate, period. If you know me, I can get extremely passionate in my speech and language and thoughts and all that stuff. Right. Yeah, I appreciate that, Liberty. I didn't normally in that situation, girl. As a matter of fact, the last time I faced that challenge, dead serious, and this is a realization that I'm having with you all. So when I said I decided on who I could be in that situation last time I faced that exact challenge, I wound up dead serious, grown man, running out the house in tears. Because for me, even as a child, tears have always been a release of emotion when I cannot fight you. Because I always been a fighter too. So I was one of those people, if you see tears, you are in a fight. So I'm glad I was able to leave with my head high, not angry, not crying, not anything. So I was proud of myself. Really, really. But all that to say is once you reach to that spot of reset that can feel so lonely, that's a time when you also get to exercise your awareness and recognize that God, the universe, the ancestors, whatever you would like to call, is going to give you what you need. And it's wild because here's my example. So before I wound up going to have to face my fear of that family event, I wound up getting up with one of my OGs. And we were just having a discussion about movies. He was talking to me about The Wizard of Oz, the original one, the 1939 one. And he was talking about how, you know, for example, the Cowardly Lion, you know, when they got to the wizard just pretty much told him it was already always in you. You just had to believe. So what you believe is what will happen. So if they believe they had it. And then the other part that was interesting, he talked about how they would have been able to leave Oz if at some point they would have got off the yellow brick road, which is crazy, right? So, and it's funny because when we think about it in life, we just talk about we're supposed to go down the yellow brick road. And one of the things I needed to know spiritually is if I'm doing the right thing or if I'm on the right path. And all that to say, my OG was telling me, be proud of yourself because all the paths you could have picked, you could have one, stayed on that yellow brick road, and two, you could have chose a different path. So be proud that you chose the path of righteousness. And that path of righteousness, use that loosely because that doesn't mean, yeah, I have stories and lots of them. You know what I mean? But the experiences, I was one of those people, they say hard head make a soft butt, but that ain't always so. But you see these gray hairs, I was definitely one of those people who learned the majority of my lessons through hands-on experience. I'm still a hands-on learner, so I got plenty of stories. So that was something that reminded me, that made me feel a little bit good in this reset, that somebody sees me. Even when I feel like there's nobody around, somebody sees me. And then the funny thing, the other thing that wound up happening is out the blue, I got a I love you. Someone who had never said it before. And I felt like they thought that that was something that I needed. And it was at that moment. Because again, you remember you're at this space of reset. And when you look around and there isn't a lot of people, and you wondered if you can be seen, somebody told me I love you. And then the other one I've been getting is I appreciate you and you are valuable. And this is all out the blue and all since I had that conflict. Funny thing, before I had that little conflict over the weekend, I knew it was going to be interesting because I cut my hand. It probably doesn't seem as bad as it was then. You probably can't even see it now. But right there, I cut that whole hand on some glass. It was bad. I thought I was going to have to get stitches, but again, I was one of those people. You got to see bone to go to the hospital. I got to get better with that because you just put some peroxide on it and you heal up. Now you got this callus and all that. So getting messages from people in my circle to tell me that I'm loved and I appreciate it. And that's just definitely something that you need to be reminded of on why you did all these healings. So when you find yourself in that space of awareness, don't be afraid to say that's how you feel. Don't be afraid to feel those feelings, but definitely do your prayers, do your meditations, and ask for what you need to hear. You know what I mean? Or what you need, and you'll get that. Just don't close yourself off to where it may come from, right? All right, so we're at an hour, but I do want to do one more little task. Brother, let me tell you something about that crying thing. I think as men, it goes along with those parasitic thoughts that we've talked about. And as men, I think through society, through experience, through whatever, we learn that there are very few spaces that you can cry. Because remember, I was a kid, like I told you, I cry all the time. I was a cry baby, but I could throw them hands. So you ain't, you know what I mean? I cried all the time. The wind blew hard enough, I cried. I used to be scared of the dark. I was just I was a kid, you know what I mean? And through going through that, like, they even tell you when you're mad, you're not supposed to cry. So I think we learn to apply crying to very few emotions. And tears can be for every single emotion. Tears can be attached to every single emotion. And I think one of the reasons we're on this healing journey is to unlearn some of those parasitic thoughts that don't even align with who we see ourselves to be as human beings. You know what I mean? And as men, when it comes to emotions, we are bombarded with parasitic thoughts and ideas of what manhood is and what masculinity is, good, bad, and indifferent. And it does take some time for us to be able to unlearn those things and get back to who we saw ourselves to be. So, bro, at 37 years old, being able to say that, that's a good thing, because I'm sure it's not that you couldn't cry, but it's now you've allowed yourself to expand the emotions that you attach tears to. You know what I mean? Other than that, growing up, you got to win the Super Bowl or somebody got to get ran over by a car and unalived. It got to be tragic, or it just has to be amazing that we got to fight, like that we got to cry. Let somebody say something mean to you, man. You can't be like, man, that hurt my feelings, start crying. You couldn't cry in the movies, cartoons, and sometimes the things be so emotional. Right. So before we wrap it up, family, I think we want to take a little time. Well, I would like to take a little time. I think it's a perfect time to, no doubt, bro. And I say this to you too, because, bro, that's just a start. Like, I'm still learning new emotions that it's all right to attach my tears to. You know what I mean? So since I've been doing this healing and this Reiki, for example, I'm going to give you some real. So one thing that I've learned about tears and not releasing them, they go somewhere. They go somewhere. And usually they stay inside of you and they manifest in very interesting ways or in ways you don't know. So, for example, I've been getting, I do Reiki. So, of course, occasionally I'll let somebody do Reiki on me. Or, man, people been killing me with, you need to go to a chiropractor. You need to go to a chiropractor. You need to go to a chiropractor. So, of course, when I'm trying to do some meditation on myself and, you know what I mean, what I realize is my bones are off, are all out of alignment. I'm having a knee problem and all that. So it's just all out of alignment. But what I realize is tears in them joints. So I anticipate as soon as they pop certain joints or certain points, I'm going to cry because I just packed it in and my tears are manifesting itself in my bones and joints. And my body is uneven and weird stuff like that. Well, I gotta have somebody else pop me into alignment. So, you know what I mean? What I say all that to you as we learning new things. We gotta figure out the things where those tears went in our body, because they went somewhere. And for me, it went in my bones. I need them things pop, man. So, all right. So for us to do this. This affirmational word, to add to our affirmational words for the year, whatever. So we're gonna take a little time, and hey, pretty black girl, I hope you like the new mic. You missed all the sound effects if you're just now coming on, so. But I'll give you an applause for showing up. Yeah, that's for you. Thank you, Marcia. I'm glad you can come by again. As a matter of fact, I know it's always like 2:00 in the morning at your time, but I appreciate when you do have the time and energy. And I give you a pass. You got a forever pass. Whenever you show up is good enough for me. Whenever you can, because I know it takes a little extra effort. For us, we start at 7 p.m. So you know what I mean. You can just finish dinner, letting your food digest, a bunch of different things. So, but I appreciate that you see enough value in this to join. So, all right. So let's do this exercise before we wrap this up. Donde es? All right. Here's my pen. So what I want you to do is take a deep breath. As a matter of fact, we're going to do some 3-6-9. I'm going to do that with y'all real quick. So this is one of the breathing exercises I generally do in my Reiki sessions. So I'm going to do it with y'all right quick before we try to think of before we give ourselves a new affirmational word. So what we're going to do is we are going to take a deep breath, and we will hold that deep breath for 3 seconds. Breathe in through your nose and then release it out through your mouth. Then we're going to take another deep breath, hold it for 6. Then another deep breath and hold it for 9. And then we're going to do the quick activity. So, all right. So on my count, all you have to do is just listen to the sound of my voice and follow my instructions. So on 3, we're going to breathe in. 1, 2, 3. Hold it for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Breathe out your mouth. All right. Okay. Get your breath. Get your breath. Get your breath. Get your breath. We're going to do it one more time for 6 seconds. So breathe. On my count of 3, we're going to breathe in. 1, 2, 3. Breathe in. Deep breath. Deep breath. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe out. All right. Now catch your breath. Whew, we're going to do it one more time. And this time we're going to hold for 9 seconds on my count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Breathe out. All right. So now that you have calmed down a little bit, I want you to think of another of the best moments in your life. One of the moments that you felt your happiest, or one of the moments you felt most complete. But put that thought in your head. Imagine it. Feel it. Breathe in the sensations of that moment. Make it almost as if you time travel back to that day where you can hear all the sounds, the voices, you smell, taste, breathe, everything that's going on in that moment. And then as you're there, just bask in it for a little bit. Enjoy the feelings, the euphoria. Enjoy the smells, the sights, the sounds. And while you're there, take a pause and make a list of all the words you can think of that will describe that moment, those feelings. I am, it's funny because I thought about one earlier. And in high school, which is crazy, it's one of those life moments. I actually won prom king, which is crazy. It's still, to me, it's still an unbelievable, it's still an unbelievable thing. That's why I still giggle and still laugh when I say it. Like, how? I don't know, but I did. I won prom king for my high school. What we say, elemental magic, what we say magic is, it seems if it was done by supernatural forces. But I did win prom king. So I'm thinking about that moment of when I'm standing up there with the other contestants and my date, and they're about to announce who won. And I can hear my friends from the neighborhood acting a fool, and I'm trying my best not to laugh. These fools just keep on saying, "You looking good? You look good. you looking good." The whole time, you looking good. They trying to announce, and these fools keep yelling it over the mic. You looking good? And man, they said my name. It was crazy, cause yeah, they just should have said my name, and I felt shocked. I felt supported. I felt lost, which is wild, cause I had never experienced something like that. So sometimes you have to experience something to know how to feel in that moment. But I had never had something like that happen. So I didn't know what to feel. I felt lost. I felt, just lost a little bit. And I felt, of all the things, I felt loved because people had to vote on that. You know what I mean? So for me, as a matter of fact, one of the things that allowed me to be able to accept that experience is something that one of the people that voted on me said. They was like, Peanut, because that's my nickname. They said, I voted for you because you didn't change when it came time to run for prom king. And I was like, what you mean? She was like, you always talk to everybody. And this was funny because people had to give you money and everything. They had to donate to your cause. They were like, you always talk to everybody. You're not one of those people that just started talking to us because you need us to vote. And that was facts. So I felt like I won that position. I won that thing because I put a lot of love out there. And what I didn't know was the love was actually coming back to. So for me, and the next step you do after you wrote down your list, I told you my story, is look through those list of words and pick the word that resonates most with your spirit. That when you look at it, when you read it, the one word that you feel out of all those words, that would be the word that, oh no, I'm sorry you missed the prompt, would describe your moment. Liberty, the prompt was you just thinking of, I just been trying to use my good sexy voice, but you just thinking of one of your best moments. And then you think about all the words that would describe that best moment. And then you look at that list of words is where we are now and figure out which one of those words that you think is all encompassing of the other words. So for me, when I look at my list of words, it would be the word loved. So for the affirmation, our new affirmational word for the wall is going to be loved. Because even when you feel there's no one around, when you look and you've done all this work on yourself and you're waiting for this perfect reward and you're facing that other effect of the reset, just remember that someone sees you, and 1, you chose the right path, 2, you are appreciated, and 3, you are loved. All right, family. So that was pretty much the show. Here, hit you some piano music. Listen, I can't hear none of this. I know that's probably crazy to you all, but I can't hear none of it. Let me see. All right, everybody. I think we've had another great episode. For me, what you mean for you? What you need? What's your teacher? What's your aspiration? Your new? I say aspirational, affirmational word. Did you do the list, Sherry? What's yours too? Oh, don't make me ask y'all next week because I don't mind. Sherry, what's your new aspirational word? I'm trying to tell everybody good night before I go. We're gonna wait on you. We got time. We're gonna wait on acknowledged. I love that. And you know what's funny that you said that? I was having a conversation with someone the other day, and we were talking about those A's: acknowledge, accept, all that for understanding. So, and honestly, I think that is a perfect one for you. And you definitely deserve the acknowledgement. So, yeah, be okay with giving it to yourself. So I think that's part of the story that I left out. I'm rambling on now anyway. So when I did take my spiritual bath, I spent that time pouring the positive thoughts of myself. I literally pat myself on the back like you did a good job, all types of stuff, like be proud of yourself. That was a man, all them crazy things, but acknowledge that's a beautiful thing. So make sure you taking those times to acknowledge yourself when you have exhibited the growth that you wanted to show. All right, Sherry, I see you trying to drag your feet, man. You probably done try to disconnect like this is a Zoom call. That's all right. Because next week, I'll just start the show with you. Right? Liberty, you have to tell me what your word is, too, so I can tell everybody, too. But we went over a little bit, 20 minutes. Yeah. Hope y'all enjoy the new setup with the new mics. I am excited about it. I think the sound is fantastical. And I look forward to book club on Thursday because we didn't have it last Thursday. We still got a couple more weeks. To the end of the month. So cool. We got cool. I'll be moving around. I'll be here. Yeah, so we got some time. So I look forward to book club on Thursday. And if you can't join us for book club on Thursday, remember we'll be right back here Tuesday for live energy readings and more. Thank you all for your support. Thank you all. I know that's right, Sherry. Wealth. I need that one, girl. Money, 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 money. Hey, I need to know. Listen, child. I want to know what your story was. That wealth is the word that described that. Man, you got to tell us next week. I'm going to write that down. Let me go ahead and put this in my handy dandy notebook right now because I want to know what wealth is. What was your story? So don't tell it now, but next week. We're going to burn up some time with you telling your story. And don't be trying not to come on next week either because I will call you. I want to hear it. That's what I'm saying. I want to hear it. So I know that right. Girl, and you deserve wealth too. I'm not even finna lie to you. You know what I mean? So that's an excellent one. I might put them all on the board. Wealth, love, and acknowledgement. I don't know. I might have to order some new letters. Okay. All right, family. Again, I appreciate. Hold on. Let me. We're gonna go back to the front. Start out. Boop 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 boop. I appreciate you. Look, I turned extra chocolate up here. I appreciate you. Until next week. I hope you all have a fan-glorious rest of your week. I know that's right, girl. I'm glad tonight's message could resonate with you because it's definitely a tough one, right? All right, but I appreciate you, and I'll see you Thursday, or I'll see y'all next Tuesday, family. And remember,
I love you.